Before I read Billy Collins' bio, and he is our last reader this evening, you should know that he was the poet laureate, and he has, I don't know, 1 million books, and he's wonderful. And this is his bio. Billy Collins teaches at Lehman College, where he has taught for 145 years.
Good evening. I must have been thinking in dog years. Very good to be here among my comrades, and also want to thank the organizers, Kimiko and Barbara and Ida and others. I'm going to read one poem, and I think that makes it okay to spend one of my minutes, of my 3 minutes, on to say something about Sean O'Casey. Sean O'Casey was not only a great Irish playwright and a prolific, formidable autobiographer. The first volume of his autobiography covers his first 3 years, I think. But he was a social activist, a socialist like Bernie, and a champion of workers' rights. And he enjoyed passing on a favorite Persian proverb. And the proverb was and is that every worker should earn 2 pennies, 1 penny to buy a loaf of bread, and the other penny to buy a lily. 1 penny to buy something you need, but make sure you have the other penny to buy something that you just want. And bringing that to bear today, I think the longer we go without a contract, the less accessible that second penny to buy the lily becomes. The poem I'm going to read came out of a conversation with a Lehman colleague, and we were sitting at a table drinking, and one of us brought up the question, what would it look like if all the students we had ever taught were assembled in one place? And then a long silence fell as you could hear us tabulating and calculating and picturing. I pictured an angry mob, but we also thought, well, would they fill Yankee Stadium, or if they lined up, would they reach from here to Poughkeepsie and that kind of thing? So the poem was really just one way of configuring these students, and it's called Schoolsville. Glancing over my shoulder at the past, I realized that the number of students I have taught is enough to populate a small town. I can see it, nestled in a paper landscape, chalk dust flurrying down in winter, nights dark as a blackboard. The population ages, but never graduates. On hot afternoons, they sweat the final in the park. And when it's cold, they shiver around stoves, reading disorganized essays out loud. A bell rings on the hour, and everybody zigzags into the streets with their books. I forgot all their last names first, and their first names last, in alphabetical order. But the boy who always had his hand up is an alderman and owns the haberdashery. The girl who signed her papers in lipstick leans against the drugstore, smoking, brushing her hair like a machine. Their grades are sewn into their clothes, like references to Hawthorne. The A's stroll along with other A's. The D's honk whenever they pass another D. All the creative writing students recline on the courthouse lawn and play the lute. Wherever they go, they form a big circle. Needless to say, I am the mayor. I live in the white colonial at Maple and Main. I rarely leave the house. The car deflates in the driveway. Vines twirl around the porch swing. Once in a while, a student knocks on the door with a term paper 15 years late, or a question about Yeats or double spacing. And sometimes one will appear in a window pane to watch me lecturing the wallpaper, quizzing the chandelier, reprimanding the air. Thank you.
leave yet. I want to first thank you all for coming, and I want to thank Tyler Rivenbark and Ann Hayes for helping me out here, emceeing, and I think Barbara Bowen has some final words. Yes, she does. Here she comes. So thank you all, and thank the writers. Another round of applause for the writers. They're really fabulous. Thank you. And while we're waiting for Barbara to come up, another round of applause for the PSC CUNY staff. Thank you so much. I've been given a lot of credit, but really it's the PSC CUNY staff. So.
These are for Kimiko. Thank you. Kimiko did a brilliant job, and I wish all the writers could stand together and that we could stand and applaud them. That was more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. Thank you for your thought and your courage and your words. We are so lucky to have you. We are so lucky to have you at CUNY. Thank you all so much, and come back. Thank you.
ديوان ما تنم داغا وداغنها سمت تنيردين تستنم انت دغوتو ينتقلم